Hello, and welcome to my kitchen, which is where we're going to be moulding our Zorro blade today. What you will need, obviously, is a blade that you want to Zorrify, a pair of gloves, a heat gun, or a stove where you can boil a pot of water. You'll need a floorball, obviously, and if you do have it, a hard ball of the same general size. So this is a field hockey ball. Don't need sweets. Don't eat sweets. It's bad for you. Anyway, I've been irritating my teammates and opponents with Zorro since about 2014 is when I started properly learning it. And I learned through lots and lots and lots of trial and error, but with the aid of some Swedish media. Especially a guy called Daniel Larner from Klubbhuset. He's been very helpful, the videos that he's made. So, tack så mycket, Daniel. Tutto bello grande. There is a fellow in Canada called Pavel Barber, and he's an amazing technician, if I can put it that way, in the art of stick handling. So, you should definitely check him out on all of his channels. He's on Instagram and everywhere. Now the reason I'm making this video is because I want to see more Zorro in the world of floorball, not just in Norway and Sweden, Scandinavia. I want to see it in the world. So I'm going to, in this video, show you how to mold your blade, and then the next one I'll go through more of the mechanics of how Zorro works, and I'll also be telling you about the golden rules of Zorro, because this is very powerful weapon, and it's a powerful weapon that only must be wielded by those worthy of wielding it. Okay, it's not just for anybody. So let's go. Now the main reason I'm doing this in the kitchen is because I have access to this sink here. So step one is to fill the sink with water. Obviously cold water, the reasons of which I will explain later. The next step, once you have your basin of water ready, is to heat up a fresh blade. Now as you can see, surprise surprise, I have a beautiful Zone Force blade. Zone Force, really nice. Unfortunately it's my very last one, so that's kind of sad, but anyway. You can either choose to heat it up with a heat gun, or you can cook up a pot of water on the stove and leave it in there for a few moments. You can pretty much leave it, if you do the pot of boiling water technique, you can pretty much leave it in for as long as you want. If you use the heat gun, you can choose to only do a certain area of the blade, and you can also heat the entire thing if you want to mold the whole thing as well. So that's the advantage to using a heat gun. The disadvantage to using a heat gun is that you need to evenly distribute the heat the whole time that you're heating it up. You need to constantly be moving it around, because if you keep the heat gun on for too long, it will melt the plastic, and that's kind of nasty. So you want to avoid that. Okay, I've just finished heating this for about 2 minutes. Here's the blade starting out. Take your ball, place the blade over the ball, and push down on the blade as hard as you can. Try to cup around the ball so that it makes a ball-shaped dent in the blade. Now, if the blade is hard enough, it'll be easy to mold. So you can see I've managed to get a little bit here. We need to do this a little bit more. So I'm going to heat it up again, keep molding it, and I'll see you soon. Here we go. That's looking a little bit better. As much as I'd like to, I can't hold your hand through this process. This is a bit where you actually do need to do some trial and error for yourself. You can use cutlery. You can use a bread knife to sort of use some extra manipulation and give yourself some more leverage, in addition to using your fingers and the ball, squeezing it in. When it's reached a nice shape like this, the next step is to dip the blade into the cold water. What this does is solidifies the plastic and stops it from wanting to return to its original shape. So you heat it up to aid in shaping it, and then you cool it off to make sure that it stays the way that you've made it and the way that you want it. Now the next bit is testing. When the blade has solidified, take it out of the water, dry it off, and give it a test run. See how it works. Don't worry if you're new to this and you can't seem to be able to do it, because I'll take you through the mechanics of the Zorro in the next video. But this is the point in the moulding of the blade where you need to test it and make the necessary modifications. So if the blade isn't good enough for you, if the cradle isn't big enough, you need to reheat and remold and refreeze and retest, and keep on doing this until either you get it right or until you can't be bothered anymore. This is part of the process, you guys, so stick to it. You'll get there eventually, and in the end you should have something that looks like this. Behold, this is the blade that I have molded and created and formed so that I can do some Zorro with it. So is this legal? I hear you say. We can check this very easily. First off, what is the rule? What is a legal and an illegal blade? In order to find this out, we need to go to floorball.org, then rules and regulations, rules of the game, and then open up the most recent document. In this case, it's the 2014 edition. We can find the information that we need under section 4, where it says stick on page 14. And when you go down to page 14, it says, the blade shall not be sharp and its hook shall not exceed 30 millimeters. That is the rule. And you can measure this by laying your stick flat with a concave side facing down. Take a yardstick or a tape measure or a ruler that's thin enough, stick it through the blade and examine the highest inner edge. So the innermost point of the tallest bit of the blade, as long as it doesn't exceed 30 millimeters, you're good to go. So if anybody checks, that's what they will be checking for. Okay, that's it for now. In the next part, I'll show you some more of the mechanics of the Zorro and how you can effectively use it in a game situation. Plus, of course, the golden rules of Zorro. Because as I said, this is a powerful weapon for powerful players with powerful minds and powerful strength of will. And since I'm doing such an international service, I'm thinking that I'll sign off each video by saying thank you in a different language. So this time I've decided completely randomly that it's going to be Romanian. So in Romania, they say mulțumesc, thank you.